Welcome to this presentation about nutrition before bariatric surgery using a VLED. There is also a second presentation, part 2 of this webinar series, that you must watch before your surgery. It provides information to prepare you for and support after your surgery. Please make sure you listen to this before you have your surgery. VLED stands for Very Low Energy Diet, sometimes called a Very Low Calorie Diet, or for short, VLCD. We recommend some key products on the market as they are nutritionally complete and safe to use as a complete meal replacement. These include Optifast, which is used more commonly, but there is also a range of other suitable products. Why VLED? We recommend using these products because they will reduce the risk of surgery. VLEDs will help reduce the fat in your liver, which makes the surgery safer and will also help you recover better from your surgery. Another reason we use the VLEDs is that they provide a diet that is very low in energy, but will still give you adequate nutrition, which is very difficult to supply with real food. So these products have been specially formulated to do this with a higher protein content and the right amount of carbohydrate. Because VLED provide this higher protein amount and lower carbohydrate content, they help you use up your fat stores, and this induces what is known as ketosis. Ketosis is a metabolic reaction that occurs in your body when you follow a VLED, only during the intensive phase, where all meals are replaced with a VLED. Your body then shifts from using mainly carbohydrates to using fat as an energy source. This helps reduce the body fat stores, which leads to weight loss. Before the body transitions into ketosis, you will likely feel very hungry and might experience some side effects. These might include fatigue, headaches, nausea, and low concentration levels. These side effects should only last about a week, and then you will have more energy and be less hungry, as when the body is in ketosis, it helps reduce your appetite. We recommend that you follow what is called the intensive phase for at least 3 weeks before surgery, which involves 3 products per day. However, if your surgeon wants you to do it for longer, such as 4 weeks, they will let you know. The cost varies between VLED products. It's best to check online for prices and specials and compare with discount chemists to find the best deal. Remember that you won't need to buy many other foods and drinks whilst using these products, so the cost often works out to be equivalent to or less than your usual food bill. This example shows the recent cost of Optifast online through a discount chemist at about $64 for a box of 18 shakes. This works out to be about $3.5 per shake, and this box would cover you for approximately 6 days. Considering how much a typical cooked meal costs, $3.5 per meal is very cheap. For the intensive phase, there are 3 products taken every day. Products available depend on the brand of VLED you purchase, but most include shakes and soups, with others, such as Optifast, including desserts and bars. The shakes are often the cheapest to buy, so most people choose these as their 3 products and mix and match the other options for variety. You will find extensive information about the products available on each of their websites. Making up the shakes is pretty easy. You need a good blender or stab mixer. Add at least 200 milliliters of water, cold or room temperature. Add the powder and then shake or blend well. Adjust the water amount to suit your taste, 250 milliliters or slightly more. If you don't have an electric blender, you can shake well, just using something like a drink bottle. You can add ice or partially freeze the shake if you want it to be cold. A similar process is used for making up the soups. However, these will be heated through. On the intensive phase, in addition to the 3 products each day, you need to include 2 cups of low-starch veggies with a teaspoon of vegetable oil, anything like canola, olive, or sunflower oil, and drink plenty of water, at least 2 liters. The vegetable oil is not essential, but it can help with cooking or flavoring of the veggies. However, the 2 cups of low-starch veggies and 2 liters of water are crucial every day, along with your VLED products. Let's look at what the non-starchy vegetables include. These are vegetables that contain very little carbohydrate, something you need to avoid on the VLED so you stay in a state of ketosis. So at least 2 cups of these or more are required every day. This table is in the resource you would have received with your link to this presentation. There are also several allowed extras that you can include, which are things like konjac noodles or pasta, which are good as they contain no carbohydrate, and so are suitable to include, in addition to herbs and spices, stock powder or cubes, pepper, vinegar, soy sauce, mustard. I'll show you a table of all the options on the next slide. You can also refer to this table in your printed resources. You must avoid things not allowed while on the VLED. These are included in this table here. You will notice some vegetables on this list. They contain too much carbohydrate. These must be avoided, such as corn, lentils, legumes, peas, potato, pumpkin, and sweet potato. Make sure you're familiar with the things you need to avoid. Water, including at least 2 liters every day, is very important. Filtered tap water is best. Aim for this as much as you can as your first drink of choice. Other options could be soda or mineral water. Avoid diet soft drinks with no added sugar. You won't be able to have fizzy drinks following your surgery, so it's best to start this early. Black tea or coffee is okay, but only have 2 cups or mugs of this. A very tiny dash of milk is also allowed if needed for taste. We would typically suggest that you have your 3 VLED products spread over the day for your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and most people would include their 2 cups of non-starchy vegetables with their dinner. But you could split up the 2 cups of veggies and have a cup at lunch and a cup at dinner if you prefer to do it in that way. You need to have 1 teaspoon of veggie oil per day with the vegetables. So, let's look at what you can do with those vegetables to make them more interesting. You might like to stir fry them with the 1 teaspoon of oil or add some flavoring like soy, chili, garlic, and herbs and spices, whatever you enjoy, to add some flavor and interest to them. You can serve this with some konjac noodles if you like. You can make a soup with stock powder or cubes and water, add your allowed vegetables, and then flavor with any additional herbs and spices. Again, using the konjac noodles or konjac pasta might add some interest. Another idea is to include some salads and use the 1 teaspoon of oil with lemon or lime juice to make up a dressing, and add things like mustard, vinegar, or garlic to the dressing for extra flavor. Regarding cooking methods for the vegetables, you can steam, boil, or microwave them, or oven bake, and roast them in the oven with 1 teaspoon of vegetable oil. Again, adding flavor to them with roasted garlic, herbs, spices, or pepper. That will give you many ideas for making your meals more enjoyable using the allowed vegetables. If you are looking for more ideas while on the intensive phase of Optifast, check out their website for recipes and other tips. Now, what if you feel really hungry? As we discussed earlier, this will settle down after the first week once your body is in ketosis. If you stick this out over the first week or so, it gets better. When hunger creeps in, be prepared and use your allowed extras list for ideas on what else to include. Try extra water, diet jelly, crushed ice made with diet cordial, or add in more allowed vegetables, as you can have more than 2 cups each day. These are the things you can add in to help with filling you up and managing hunger. Common problems include bad breath, indicating that the VLED is functioning properly, as ketosis contributes to this. Aim to brush your teeth more regularly, and consider using mouthwash or no added sugar gum or mints for assistance. Some people do end up being a little constipated. To help, try to be as active as possible, but if you're starting with exercise, discuss this with your GP first. Start small and build up. Make sure to include the 2 cups of non-starchy vegetables and 2 liters of water each day, as we discussed earlier, as these will help reduce the risk of constipation. If you need to, add a fiber supplement and discuss the best option with a pharmacist. You will receive a phone call from the hospital to provide information before your surgery to confirm appointment dates, including your pre-anesthetic appointment and surgery date. Advice on when to start the VLED will be discussed, and the timing of this is usually 3 weeks before your surgery. It's important to see your doctor before you start the VLED. You may need to change some of your tablets, which may include some of the diabetes or blood pressure medications you might be taking, and complete some blood tests to check your nutritional status around the time of commencing the VLED. Your GP is the first place to get in touch if you feel at all unwell once you start. To summarize, You must ensure you use the VLED products 3 times per day for at least 3 weeks before surgery. It is very important to follow the guidelines for the intensive phase closely during this time if you want your surgery to go ahead. We wish you all the best with your upcoming surgery and thank you for watching this presentation.